Let me start the show with this. I've never been an awards guy. I used to have a Heisman Trophy vote. I voted one time. My guy finished like fourth, and I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not an awards guy. Personally, professionally, I don't really care who wins awards. I really didn't care who won the Embiid-Jokic award, but I do think winning matters. And this is sort of a holistic rant on a macro rant on the NFL and the NBA. The reason the NFL is king, and there's a lot of reasons. We bet it. We watch it more. It's one game a week. But it's not that. That's always been the case. What has happened to the NBA over the last 7 to 8 to 10 years is the regular season ratings are awful. And one of the reasons the regular season ratings are awful is that nobody cares about winning. This is an interesting stat. And it's not an Embiid-Jokic argument. Embiid won. Happy for him. I had said a month ago I'd vote for Jokic because he was on a number one seed and analytics, and he played more games. But the last 5 players in the NBA to win the MVP, the last 5 players in their entire careers have 1 title and 3 final appearances. The previous 5 players to win the MVP have 15 titles and 9 times as many finals appearances. There's a Kobe, LeBron, Durant, and Curry. That really is my beef. The MVP has been sort of it's a compilation of stats, and look at me. Winning doesn't mean anything anymore. So a prime example is, and again, it's not an Embiid versus Jokic argument. Do you know the Sixers are actually 13-5 without Embiid this year? They have a higher winning percentage when he doesn't play. They have a higher net rating when he doesn't play. That's not even discussed. The Nuggets are awful. They're not even the same franchise when Jokic doesn't play. But the regular season is now so unimportant. Load management is a runaway train, and only recently did Adam Silver even suggest it's a problem, that what happens is the regular season doesn't matter. Therefore, winning in the regular season doesn't matter. Jokic being a number 1 seed, that's like 7th in the pecking order. It's become a showcase of me. So when it doesn't matter if the Stars play, it doesn't really matter what the record is. This is a symptom of it. It's not the cause, it's a symptom of it. It doesn't really matter that the Sixers are actually better when Embiid doesn't play. Here's something to think about. In the last 20 years, and this has been ongoing for a while, but in the last 20 years, the MVP has won a title just 3 times. And twice, it was just LeBron in Miami. So if you just took LeBron in Miami out in the last 20 years, it basically doesn't happen. But in the previous 20 years, half the time, the MVP won a title. Because you were part of a collective. The regular season mattered more. It was about winning and culture. And I'm not saying stats don't matter. But have we ever thought for 5 minutes that Harden or Westbrook were the most valuable anything? They're just talented. So that's my beef. It's not with who won it. It's what the most valuable player trophy has become, symbolic of me and stats. Jokic being a number 1 seed, it's not even on the top 5 categories that matter anymore. So as a league, if you wonder why your NBA regular season ratings are plummeting, the audience can tell. The regular season doesn't matter. You don't care about it. It doesn't matter if Stars play. 66 games. That's Embiid. That's all you got to play. You can take like a quarter, 20% of the regular season off. That's my issue. So it's interesting. The Lakers tonight are underdogs and should be. But really the key to the success in the last 20 games has been Anthony Davis. So as you all know, especially people in Los Angeles, the Lakers wanted this to become AD first, 1, and LeBron 1A 3 years ago. But after they won a title, AD came in out of shape the following season. It did not sit well in the organization. Now, in his last 20 games, AD's had 0 defensive clunkers and almost no offensive clunkers. In March, he averaged 28 and 12, and he, not LeBron, was the reason they got here. And you can see LeBron appreciating it. LeBron now takes more threes than ever before. It's easier. You don't have to race back on defense when you shoot a 26-footer. LeBron's not shooting the ball well, but he's shooting more because it's easier. And I think LeBron psychologically knows, hey, man, I just got 7-8 minutes of fastballs in this thing. I'm going to let the game come to me, and it's AD's team. But when the Lakers went out and got Anthony Davis, actually, it was a dream scenario. Year one, they won a title. It was AD dominating in the bubble, LeBron out of his prime but still productive, and just a bunch of movable parts. Then there was the next several years where AD was brittle, often out of shape, LeBron was aging, playing less, and the movable parts were often toxic, like Westbrook. But what's encouraging for the Lakers is in the last 20 games, it's become the bubble again. Peripheral guys that are not going to win games, but they can, Jared Vanderbilt, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, have moments that help, like KCP and Kuzma back then. But it's been a dominant AD and a past his prime LeBron who is great in spurts. So it does feel like a bubble year. And the other reason it feels like a bubble year, if you go back to the COVID bubble situation in Orlando, what happened? It was a strange, strange season. In the bubble, as we've noted again this year, veteran teams flourish in the playoffs. Young teams disintegrate. Cleveland this year disintegrated. Memphis disintegrated. Sacramento, good fight out in the first round. But in the COVID year, because the veteran players missed their families, missed their kids, except for LeBron and AD, all the old teams unraveled. It was a weird year. Well, I would argue this has been the second strangest year. The Warriors had chemistry issues that were so bad, they were like the third worst road team in the league. Milwaukee's already been rolled. The Knicks are suddenly good and viable, though they have one dependable scorer. Memphis, Ja Morant situation, a mess. And at the end of the year, Kawhi and Paul George were out in the playoffs. So now all of a sudden, we again have a very weird year. Chemistry problems with the Warriors. A one seed's already been bounced. Boston now in close games, forget the blowouts, in close games is a 500 team. 13-13 in situational clutch games this year. So there is a feeling around the Lakers. Are we getting another kind of off year, weird year, strange year, dominant AD, LeBron out of his prime but productive, movable parts, and you take advantage of a little crevice, a little opening in the West to get to the finals? We'll find out tonight. My guess is the Warriors tie it up, but a win by AD and the Lakers, he has not had many clunkers in his last 20, would really put a stamp on probably the end of the dynasty. Shaq last night on Anthony Davis.
I'm going to tell him, like Phil, Pat, and the Sergeants to tell me, do it again. I used to be, Dad, I had a good game. I'm not impressed. Do it again. And Chuck is right. They will only go as far as he takes them. That was impressive. That 30 and 20, I have nothing to say about that. But guess what, young man? We got 3 more to go.
Yeah, there's been 2 ADs. The bubble year and this. In between, out of shape, getting hurt, kind of toxic, doesn't work, disappointment. So can this become the bubble year? It is a strange, strange NBA season. Many stars didn't play. The MVP only plays, 65, 66 games. Chemistry issues. Kawhi, Paul George out. Denver, a number 1 seed. Milwaukee already rolled. It's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. I'm not a believer. I'm not. I do not see the Lakers capable of winning 4 series with old LeBron well past his prime, now relying on threes and shooting way too many of them, though not hitting them. And it's a cross-your-fingers scenario with AD and his health. But I would say, even people I respect, I'm in the minority. I do not see this as a championship team. I just think their ceiling is incredibly low offensively. If AD's off, has a clunker, gets injured, I don't know where the points come from. But I'm in the minority. A lot of people think this is a championship team. And I don't